Hey, what's up, good folks? What's up, good folks? Welcome to the uh, second part or addendum to the last video I did talking about playing with fonts and manipulating fonts a little bit. So now we're going to get to some fun stuff, all right? We're going to take this cool little graphic here. Sorry if anyone is offended. And we're going to put this on top of a fitted hat or a snapback hat. We're gonna do some really cool stuff. We're gonna make it look 3D and all that good stuff. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is we are going to make this bad boy a nice light color. I'm not gonna go stark white. I'm gonna go this kind of light gray off white. Okay. And there we go. And then we're gonna take this and we are gonna hold on. Part of it wasn't there, so we're going to take this and we're going to group that. We don't really have to, but I'm going to copy. You all know Command C, basic copy. It's on every program copies the same way. Illustrator is no different. All right. So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to go to Photoshop and our cool, awesome template right here, and we're just going to simply paste. Control C, Control V rather. V is in Victor. I'm gonna paste that as pixels, and voila, there we go. Pretty cool looking, right? Pretty cool, but that's kind of basic. I mean, you could get away with that, and a lot of people will look at that and be like, "Oh man, that's nice. I want that cat." But I'm gonna take it to the next level. We're gonna take it to a whole nother level. So what I'm going to do is I want to put a texture in here that kind of mimics embroidery. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. I like doing things quick and easy. Life is too short, all right? So I'm going to go to one of everybody's favorite places, and we're going to go to Google. And you can do this with canvas. You can do this with a few other fabrics, but I like herringbone. Okay, so I'm going to put in herringbone, and I want it to be white, kind of to match that color that I have there already. So I'm just going to write white. All right, and let's see what we come up with. And first thing we want to do, you see all this stuff, but we want to hit images. And no, yes, that's exactly what we want. So let's click on that, and that is it right there. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to take this herringbone, and I'm going to drag this to my desktop. Now I've already done this, so if you do it, just drag it, throw it on your desktop, and you are all done. And let's go back to Photoshop, okay? So now I'm going to move a couple of these things out of the way, and I'm going to get over to my trusty desktop. I have it right here, and I'm just going to drag it, boom, and drop it. And there it goes, all right? Press enter, and if we go up on our layers, here it is right here. All right, so what I'm going to do with that layer is I'm going to rasterize that layer so I can work with it. Now I'm going to select this and make it a pattern. What I do is I go right over here to my marquee tool, and then I don't want to go outside of the edges though. I want to stay inside so that I just get the herringbone pattern, right? Just grab this, make a square inside of that pattern, and that's good right there. And now I'm going to go up to, I believe it's edit, and we're going to go down to define pattern. All right. Now what define pattern does is that it makes that square box of herringbone, it makes it a pattern that we can throw into anything. Okay. So we're going to define that pattern, and there we go. I'm just going to call that, I did this before, but I'm just going to call that embro for embroidery. Okay, because what that pattern is going to do, I'm going to use that pattern to mimic the look of embroidery. Okay, you just want to mimic, you just want to fake people out, and you'd be surprised how things aren't actually what they are, but in Photoshop, it really creates an optical illusion. Okay, So, I mean, that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that layer and deselect. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the layer for this dope right? And what layer is that? I believe it's, okay, layer 2. All right, that's our layer, layer 2. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Magic Wand and I'm going to select this D. All right, you see the D is selected. But I don't just want the D, I want the whole dope So I go up to Edit. Nope, not Edit. I go to Select because I'm selecting something. Duh. I go to Select, Similar. And if you notice on that layer, it selects all of that off-white color. All right. So now I'm going to go back to Edit, and I'm going to go down to Fill. Okay. And of course, I do not use the hotkey. I don't use that because I'm trying to teach you something. Fill. Now, when you get to fill, there's a lot of things. You got foreground, background, color, blah, blah, blah. But we want to choose pattern. Okay. You go down to custom pattern, and then you choose your pattern. And of course, our pattern is this last one that we put in, the Embro. Okay. And boom, it puts that pattern in there. Let me deselect and go a little bit closer so you can kind of see that that kind of has the embroidery look to it right there, okay? But that's cool, but we want to take it a step further. And this is where the really cool stuff happens, okay? That same layer 2, you want to go out here and you want to double click on that layer. And what happens is when you double click on that layer, you get your layer style, okay? This is really, really simple right here. You just want to go to Bevel and Emboss, and you want to click on that. Okay, now you see that once you click on that, some stuff starts to happen. Okay, so you want to double click on your bevel and emboss, and now you see all this other stuff, and you see that you can soften things up, and you got the size. You see how that's playing with? You can make it thick, but we don't want it to look all crazy like that. We just want to create a nice, soft kind of a 3D effect, not anything crazy. That kind of looks cool. And then you want to the depth, you don't want the depth to be too hardcore, too hard body. You just want a nice, something like that. Just something that creates a nice 3D feel, but not anything too crazy. So now keep that nice and soft. And that's looking pretty good right there. Maybe we'll add a little bit for depth. We'll take it up a little bit more. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Well, no, maybe. I'm just doing it so you can play with this on your own, but I'm just doing it so you guys can kind of see how we can create a 3D look. Okay, that looks really cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go down here to drop shadow, and I'm going to click on drop shadow, and you see how the drop shadow comes in there. All right, and so now I'm going to double click on drop shadow, and you get all these options, and you could just actually go over here and just pull this out and play with it. Because it's not raising off. You just want a little bit of a slight shadow beneath. And what's going to happen if you have like a slight shadow around it is it's just going to help to give it that nice 3D look. But you just want it to be very, 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 very slight. So let me just move this over a little bit. Okay. And I'm going over here to my opacity and just bring this down some. Bring it up a little bit. Just a slight little shadow. And boom, there you go. We're going to press OK. And now we have a three-dimensional looking hat. But of course, we're dealing with super pack templates here. So we could play with this even more, you know what I mean? If we don't really want that cement bill right there, we can just click right here and that bill is gone. Okay, if we want to play with that, let's just say we want this bad boy to be a black color. Or white. We're going to make that black, and then we're going to add our. Now check that out, guys. You got the black with the purple eyelets. Let's just say you wanted this to match. You wanted the purple eyelets to match. All you have to do is just go up here and get rid of those. I mean, and look at that, guys. I mean, that's something. That's something that you can sell. Maybe you want to add that back. Boom. I mean, these templates are awesome, and this thing that you can do is awesome. This stuff is really, really cool, guys. I'm glad that you guys are watch this, and hopefully you learn something from this. And I said this once, I said it 1,000 times. T-shirts and fitted and snapback hats go together like peanut butter and jelly. If you got a company and you're selling T-shirts, a snapback hat to go along with it is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they go together. You can sell them as sets, and you get more bang for your buck, and you can make more money that way. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is Gary from the T-Shirt Help Desk. I hope this has been helpful. To your T-shirts, guys, may all your T-shirts dreams come true. Catch me on the rebound, all right? I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.
Check this out, guys. Check this out. We got the purple and we got the cement. See people rocking, this to match their Jordans, whatever. But you don't have to have that. Boom. You can get rid of that with the layers. The background. You don't need the background. You can have any background you want. That's just a little background I chose. Boom. You can get rid of that too. You can put anything back there, or you could just have it clear. But that's not it. That's not it. You just think you could just do a one-color hat? You think you could just do a one-color hat? No, of course not. You think Gary's going to give you something so simple? Guys, you can do anything. You get rid of that, and you go down to bare bones, all right? And you have your eyelets. You can change the color of the eyelets, because sometimes eyelets are different colors. But we're going to go down to a basic white, so you make sure that you can see that. And put the background back on there. That's your basic white cap. That's the basis of everything. But now, check this out, guys. Check this out. Boom. You want your build to be one color. Boom. You want the back layer. Every single one of these panels has a color. All right. Every single one. I know what you're saying. Even the little top thing up there.